All right, so today I'm coming live from Rob's awesome basement pad here in Ottawa, Canada.
Hello.
And Rob is one of my good friends. He does what we do. He has an awesome website called stophavingaboringlife.com and a YouTube channel by the same name without the .com, Stop Having a Boring Life. Awesome YouTube channel. Really good friend. I think we first met in last year in Leipzig.
Yeah, we met in Germany.
And we've known each other online for a long time.
2-3 years.
Just have a lot of respect for what Rob's doing. And today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a pretty cool topic, sort of the benefits of long-term travel. We've both been doing a lot of travel in the last decade, and we just want to talk about sort of how it's changed our lives and just what it does to you as a person, sort of to get away from the grind, to kick the routine and to do something outside of the box. So what got you into travel? Like what was your what brought it all on for you?
I always wanted to travel, and I wanted to leave and do some traveling right after university, but then I realized that everyone I saw that left right away, and they went away for maybe 5-6 months, they came back broke, they got a job, and they never went again. I wanted to go away for longer. So the plan was to work for 1 year and then leave, but that never happened. I got a house, I got a serious girlfriend, my career started developing, and I didn't end up leaving for several years, which turned out to be a really good thing. And the reason why is I really know what the other side of the coin is like now. I know what it's like going to work 9 to 5. I know what it's like spending all your time doing a job that doesn't really fulfill you, and then trying to fit in what you do want to do with your life into the little bit of spare time you have afterwards. So above all else, travel gives you freedom, and it's a freedom that can't be described when you don't know what day of the week it is. When
I love that.
Yeah, when any
you just wake up and you're like, no idea.
It's you're like an animal or something, right? You're not in this programmed. You're just like, I wake up when I'm ready to wake up. I go to bed when I'm ready to go to bed, and then you basically do what you want. Granted, don't think that you're not going to work a lot. Chances are you're going to work infinitely more than you ever did in your previous job. But if you're smart and you're lucky, it's not work, because it's something you like doing.
Yeah.
So you basically, it's like you're a kid again, and you can just spend all of your time doing what makes you happy. And if you can make a living from that, all the better.
I know. That's the ultimate. Doing what you love and getting on the road. Like, going back to what Rob said about not knowing what day it is, the only time I know what day it is, or what time it is for that matter, is when I got a flight to catch.
Yeah.
Or something. That's the only time I set my alarm clock. Otherwise, I wake up when I want to, when my body naturally wakes up. And to me, that is priceless.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that.
It really, really is. And a good way that I sometimes remind myself is, sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be like all ready to go and excited to do stuff, or I won't be in the mood or whatever. But then I think in my mind of like, oh, imagine if I had to go to work right now, and then suddenly my bed becomes so much more comfortable and I just want to stay in bed, but like, there's more to life than bed. Something else that I think is really amazing about long-term travel is that it gives you a really good understanding of the world you live in, and for other people. Depending on where you're from, I don't know how multicultural it is, but you might be hanging out with a lot of people from very similar background to yourself, with similar values and similar interests, hobbies, etc.
Yeah.
When you travel, you get exposed to the full gauntlet, and above all else, you realize that everyone is basically the same.
Yeah.
We all want love, happiness, and security, and we all want to have a good time. And it's just really cool, because if you do this a while, you end up developing friends all around the world that are of all different shapes, sizes, ethnicities, interests, and it just really widens your view of the world.
Yeah.
And
It's like if you stay in one place, it's almost like you've got this box, you've boxed yourself in.
Yeah.
But the more you travel, the more you see the world, the more you experience different cultures, different food, different people with different belief systems, all this stuff. It's like it makes your world go from this to this. That's really what it's all about.
A good way of explaining it is, a lot of people, when they see something they don't understand, they say that's weird, but never say that's weird. Just say that's different.
Yeah.
Because you think it's weird, because from what you're used to doing, it's different. It's not any weirder. And then if you were to go over there, they might look at what you're doing and think that's weird, but you wouldn't appreciate someone saying what you do is weird.
Yeah.
And it's different. It's just different.
So let's keep going with this topic. This is awesome. So how has long-term travel sort of changed your value system? Like what are some of the things you really value now that maybe you didn't before you started doing this?
I used to value money a lot more. And I used to think that if you had a lot of money, or if I managed to get a lot of money, everything would change. But I don't anymore. You need a certain amount of money to be comfortable. And actually, you know what? You want to be a little bit more than comfortable. You want to be well off, where you're comfortable and you can afford to buy things that you might want. But I found that the more comfortable and well off you become, the less things you actually do want. So if you were to say, go to some kid with nothing, like a normal 8-year-old kid, and say, what do you want from this store? And since they're not paying for it, they've got no concept or value of what $1 is. They want everything. Whereas if you get older and you don't have enough to buy anything, you still want whatever you can get. But the minute you start actually having enough to buy what you want, you start looking at it and being like, do I even want that? Because at the end of the day, all the money you have is basically stored energy, and you had to trade like sweat and energy to get that money that you can then trade for other things. So just hold on to that energy.
Yeah. So you want to have a rich life versus a rich bank account.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. Like, I really value my time now more than money. I value having flexibility in my schedule, being in charge of my own schedule, having the opportunity, the ability to basically be wherever I want, doing whatever it is. And like you said, like we work hard, we put in long hours, but we do what we love, and that makes it all, like, I mean, it makes it worthwhile in the end. For sure.
Yeah. And you can live a really, really, really rich life without spending a ton of money.
I know.
I mean, obviously everything costs money, but
there are so many spots, like all over the world, like in Asia and South America, Central America, Europe, Africa, where you can live for a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
And keep your standard of living. Like, you can live well, have a nice apartment, have really good nightlife, have awesome access to restaurants, a really good expat community, really good opportunities to interact with locals, awesome opportunities to eat local cuisine. And you don't have to be staying where you are. You have so many options.
One thing I noticed that's kind of interesting is a lot of people from North America especially, they have everything, but they'll always look and be like, oh, I can't afford to travel, oh, I can't do this. But they have everything. Something cool about long-term travel is that you're moving a lot, so you can't physically accumulate things.
Yeah.
And if you look around your house, most of the things you have might have been really important to you at some point, but now are they just sitting collecting dust? Well, you traded the energy I was mentioning earlier for those things. So why not just skip the things altogether, be happy with what you have, and see the world, adventure.
And you know what? When you've been traveling for a long time, and say you've left a box of stuff, say at your own house or at a parent's house or at a friend's house, oftentimes when you come back and look in that box, you don't even remember what's in there.
No.
You've learned to live without it. It's just stuff. Stuff can be replaced.
When I was in university, the day before I left, my house burnt down. And I had all of the stuff that I was going to bring back with me that I thought I needed to live with. Well, when it all left and it was all completely gone, I realized I didn't really need any of it. And that was like a big awakening moment for me. So when I left this time, which was like, now it's been over 5 years, I sold everything I had, and anything I couldn't get rid of, I just gave away to people.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you were to now say, Robert, list all the stuff you had that you loved, all I can think of is like my couches and stuff. Like, I don't even know what I had anymore. And so there's an old expression, which is when you go through life, you want to be the guy calling the shots. And if you just start collecting things, you become like the donkey getting dragged through life, whose back hurts from carrying all this stuff that you don't need.
So true.
That's what they say, a dog's life. Dogs are so happy because they have nothing to worry about.
So free yourself of the possessions, free up some time, enjoy life. And that's what the message has been in this video. And if a couple guys like us can do it, so can you.
Anyone, literally, anyone can do it. I've met people from all walks of life. You just need to want it, and you need to really, really want it. So many people want something, and then when it doesn't really work out for them, they kind of change their mind and they get all like hopeless on it, and then they want it again. No. You need to want it, and you need to work towards it, and you'll get it.
Sure. So this is awesome, man. Thanks for coming on. Keep living the dream, Rob. Boom.